Oklahoma senators take the oath of office. Oklahoma City schools dedicate their new administrative building. Plus, new food options on campus finally open their doors. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Kyle Payne.
And I'm Shireen Hashem. We begin with the first step in a new governing body for Oklahoma.
Today, state Senate members took the oath of office at the Capitol in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma Supreme Court Justice Douglas Combs swore in 12 new members and 12 others who are returning to office. 17 of 24 senators are Republicans. One of the newly elected Democrats is from Norman, Mary Boren. She was elected by Senate District 16. While she has no relation to former OU President David Boren, she says she does plan to support public education.
Norman police are investigating an attempted robbery that happened at a local Walmart parking lot not far from campus. According to the victim's Facebook post on Monday, at around 9:30 p.m., Jessica Jones was attacked, robbed, and almost kidnapped in the Walmart parking lot on 12th East and Main Street. Jones describes the suspect as a man in his late 30s who drove off in a red four-door sedan. Norman police say they have not had any similar incidents reported at this location. But even so, the story is leaving some OU students who shop at Walmart often on edge.
I try to be really careful anyway because you hear so much about the human trafficking and stuff. So I really think it could probably happen to anyone, but it makes me a little nerve-wracking. Definitely makes me want to come in the daytime more.
As we go into the holiday shopping season, police say it's important for everyone to pay attention to their surroundings in store parking lots.
And despite the frigid temperatures, the sun is out and it started to feel a little better today.
Marissa Nuzzo joins us with more on these cold temps and how it's affecting and how it really feels.
That's right, guys. We are warming up a little bit from what we've been seeing the past couple of days. It's currently 44 here in Norman, and as you can see, all that cold air is slowly moving off to the east, but it is warmer than it was yesterday. It's 10 degrees warmer here in Norman, and we're seeing temperature increases in the teens off to the west, and although it's a very small increase, 5, 9 in Tulsa, it still is warmer than it was yesterday, and we will continue on this warming trend. We do sadly have another cold blast coming our way, but we do have dry conditions, and I will have all of that coming up.
Thanks, Marissa. Dry weather and strong winds are fueling the California wildfires again today. Ashley Eddy joins us from the News Center with details. Ashley?
More than 100 people are still missing in Northern California's Butte County as firefighters battle the Camp Fire. At least 73 of the missing are 65 or older. Most of the 103 listed missing are from Paradise, a town of 27,000 north of Sacramento.
This is so devastating that I don't really have the words to describe it. It looks like a war zone. It is. It's the devastation that only fires of this kind could bring about.
The Camp Fire is one of two major blazes burning that have killed at least 50 people. Marjory Stoneman Douglas school shooter Nikolas Cruz now faces additional charges of assault, battery, and use of an electric weapon after an altercation yesterday with a guard. Cruz allegedly tackled and repeatedly punched a jail guard after the guard asked him to not drag his sandals on the ground. Cruz took the officer's stun gun in a fight, and the weapon discharged. He struck the sergeant several more times until the guard regained control of the weapon and struck at Cruz's face. Cruz then retreated to a seat while the officer took him into custody. And major media organizations are supporting CNN and White House reporter Jim Acosta after his recent suspension of his press pass. Both are plaintiffs in a lawsuit against the White House that alleges the suspension violates Acosta's First and Fifth Amendment rights. A joint statement was released today signed by multiple news outlets, including Fox News, NBC, the Associated Press, and many others. In response to the lawsuit, the Justice Department says the White House can pick and choose which journalists are given a permanent pass. And Shireen, a hearing is being held this afternoon in the U.S. District Court concerning the matter.
Thanks, Ashley. The CEO of Juul announced plans Tuesday to suspend most retail sales of flavored products as part of efforts to restrict access to minors. The decision comes in response to the FDA's announcement that it would investigate e-cigarette makers and their sales and marketing practices. Juul plans to keep mint, tobacco, and menthol flavors in retail stores to prevent users from reverting to menthol cigarettes.
You know, I think it's good for limiting the sales towards minors, but overall, I mean, they're going to lose a lot of customers. I mean, personally, my favorite flavor is mango.
The company is also eliminating some of its social media accounts as part of the plan to prevent nicotine addiction among teens.
And sticking with the inhaling theme, in the last few months, Oklahoma's Medical Marijuana Authority has collected more than $6.5 million in application fees. More than $5.5 million of that came from licensing dispensaries, growers, and processors. Over 1,000 grow licenses have been issued, a number the co-writer of the bill, Chip Paul, was shocked by. When the bill was put together, it wanted to offer any Oklahoman a chance to start a marijuana-focused business. Another huge number in all of this, 12,300 patients have received their medical marijuana license.
A federal judge has sentenced an Oklahoma man to 30 months in prison for working with his son to manufacture pipe bombs. 54-year-old Barry Albert Nichols, along with his 24-year-old son Christopher Nichols, purchased materials at a hardware store to make 2 pipe bombs. Christopher Nichols was sentenced back in December of 2017 to 44 months in prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy to make and possess destructive devices. The men were indicted after pipe bombs were found in a relative's vehicle. Surveillance showed Christopher Nichols entering the woman's car. He told authorities it was only meant to scare her.
And after months of waiting, OU students will finally get to enjoy Cross restaurants.
Plus, OKC schools dedicate a new building to a former NAACP leader. Stay tuned.
Newly elected officials are forming their leadership teams. Tatum Wilson has more on Stitt's picks. Tatum?
Governor-elect Kevin Stitt today announced his transition team called Oklahoma Turnaround. The 9 executive team members will help the governor-elect hire senior staff and fill 7 issue-centered advisory committees. The committees will focus on drafting policy related to education, economic growth, government efficiency, infrastructure, health, public safety, and Native American partnerships. The team will also work with Stitt to ensure a smooth transition, develop policy proposals, and prepare a budget proposal. Stitt's transition team includes many longtime political insiders. The team is led by Mark Nuttall, a Norman lawyer and consultant with decades of experience in national Republican politics. Nuttall formerly served as executive director of the National Republican Congressional Committee. He's also represented and advised former U.S. presidents and state leaders. Stitt also tapped outgoing Labor Commissioner Melissa Houston and Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell for his transition team. In national politics, the newly elected members of the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate met in Washington, D.C. for orientation today. The new Congress met for training in party leadership elections. There were a lot of new faces, but some of the leadership stayed the same. Chuck Schumer will remain Senate Minority Leader, and Republicans voted to keep Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in his position as well. Representative Kevin McCarthy of California was elected House Minority Leader. He will lead House GOP members after Speaker Paul Ryan finishes his term in January. The congressional orientation and voting happened even though some races still haven't been called. 10 U.S. House races have not been finalized. Other races include the Florida Senate race between incumbent Senator Bill Nelson and Florida Governor Rick Scott. That's because voting machine problems are slowing down the recount in some places like Palm Beach County. Due to the age of the machines, the county appeared to be making little progress in overcoming technical problems. Last night, the election supervisor told reporters more than 170,000 early votes had to be counted again. She said she will be there as long as it takes.
Working as hard as I can, and I can't give anymore. You know what? This is our democracy, and I am here to count every vote, and I will take the time that's required. And you can see I haven't been home for 3 days.
The deadline to recount all ballots is 3 p.m. tomorrow. Shireen, back to you.
Thanks, Tatum. After months of delays, the new restaurant options for students in Cross neighborhood are now open. Credo and Glow Cafes on the north side of Cross offers burgers, sandwiches, and other American entrees. Next to the cafes is Milk Flower Gelateria. The modern ice cream shop offers a multitude of flavors of rich gelato. Across the way is the south side of Cross is the Brickwalk Pizzeria and Hive Coffee Shop. The Brickwalk offers deep dish and regular crust pizzas as well as an oven-grilled sandwich. The Hive Coffee Shop offers fresh roasted coffee and pastries and a quiet environment for students to study in. The good news for students is you can use points and Sooner Cents to purchase any of these items.
The Oklahoma City School Board will name its new administration building after an NAACP leader who organized civil rights sit-ins. The board unanimously voted to call its new building the Clara Luper Center for Educational Services. Luper was a teacher and youth leader for the NAACP who fought to end segregation in downtown OKC businesses. The building is scheduled to open in 2019. And with the final home game of the season this weekend, fans are hoping it's a little warmer than Bedlam. Marissa is back with a breakdown for the rest of this week. Marissa?
That's right, guys. We have a warming trend on the way, and I will let you know just exactly how warm it's going to be this weekend right after this. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Oklahoma is still recovering from that cold blast we had on Monday and all that snow, and right now it looks beautiful. We're sitting at 43 degrees and sunny with those north winds, so a little bit chilly, but warmer than it was earlier this week. So now some things are going to be changing. Let's take a look at the big picture, what's going on in our atmosphere. So we have this dry line that's going to move into our area, which means it's going to bring in a dry mass of air, which means that our temperatures are going to get more extreme. We're going to have warmer highs and lower lows, kind of like a desert, warmer during the day and colder at night. And then as those south winds just start to dominate, a cold front is going to push through and bring lots of cold air along with it. Luckily, though, it will not be bringing any precipitation. A little bit of snow up in Kansas and in Colorado, but none here in Oklahoma. So how is this going to affect our temperatures? Our normal temperature is usually about 60 degrees for this time of year. So as that dry line comes through and we have drier air, we're going to heat up just a little bit above average. And then for Saturday, we're going to start the day around 57, and as that cold front comes through on Saturday, we're going to drop down, and our high for Sunday is only 41 degrees. And then as we recover from that cold front, we'll be leveling off back to normal as we go into early next week. So our lows tonight, freezing for most of the state. 25 degrees is our low here in Norman, and as you're walking out the door tomorrow, it is going to be still below freezing at 30 degrees, but hopefully that sun will melt the frost off your car before you have to get out to work. And we're heating up to 56 degrees by 5 p.m. So highs 56 here in Norman, 56 in OKC, a lot warmer, and even 60 degrees out in Lawton for your highs. And then we are warming up even more for Friday with 61 degrees as your high on Friday, and 57 is going to be our high on Saturday. But as that cold front pushes through on Saturday, the temperatures are going to decrease, but it's still not going to be as cold as it was last weekend. So maybe expect temperatures in the 40s and lower 50s for the game on Saturday. So it should be a little bit better than last weekend.
Yeah, I'm just glad for Dad's Day it's going to be a bit better for the game.
Usually I'm excited about night games, but I wish this one was at 2:30 so it wouldn't be cold at all.
Wouldn't be so
For our
cold.
last home game as students, it's going to be sad, but at least it's against Kansas.
Guaranteed win.
Thanks, Marissa. Work is in progress to count all Oklahoma kids in the 2020 census. Census data is crucial in helping fund programs across the state, and in 2010, around 1/4 of households didn't mail their questionnaires back. Children under 5, who make up an estimated 7% of the population, were undercounted at the highest rate of any age group. The 2020 census count will be the first time people are asked to fill the forms out online, and in 2017, it was reported that nearly 17.5% of Oklahoma households had no internet access.
Chloe Sparks is here to let us know the latest on the Sooners dropping a player from the football squad.
We will update you on the status of Tremonda Moore's dismissal from the program, and Katie shows up in our Whiner of the Week segment. But it's not really his fault. Sports is coming up next. Welcome back. With the Sooners prepping for Saturday's home finale against Kansas, there's a distraction inside the program. Redshirt junior offensive lineman Tremonda Moore has been dismissed for a violation of team rules. Moore has had a long and troubled college experience. Since leaving John Marshall High School, Moore has signed at Oklahoma State, spent some time at Last Chance U in Independence, Kansas, and was being redshirted in his first year at OU. He was expected to compete for a starting spot next season. As for the rest of the team, they're moving along with Kansas in their sights. Meredith Mulkey joins us with more on that. Meredith?
This is the Sooners' last home game of the season, and they're prepared to go out with a bang. Getting the win over Kansas this weekend would mean they finish undefeated at home and make for a very happy senior night.
Now that we're here, again, it's a cliche, but it just flew by so fast. Just going to enjoy these last few games as much as I can.
Hey, man, those guys, they paved the way for me, for the younger guys before me, the guys that are younger than them. So, they've meant everything to us, definitely, sending those guys out on a good note. The senior night is something that, that means a lot to me personally. I know that means a lot to, everybody else on this team.
With it being this team's last time in the stadium, a lot of these seniors' last game here on Owen Field, it's just very, very, very important to us to finish this thing off the right way. That's really our main focus right now is playing our best against Kansas, correcting some of the mistakes that we need to correct, and having a great last showing here in Norman.
This is OU fans' last chance to cheer on their Sooners in Norman. Kickoff is at 6:30.
Tonight, the Oklahoma City Thunder will face the New York Knicks. The Thunder have won 8 of their last 9 games. Meanwhile, New York has lost 4 of their last 5. Russell Westbrook, who has been out with a sprained ankle for the last 4 games, will remain on the bench for tonight's game. Westbrook did participate in practice Tuesday and looks to be on track to return soon. As for the NFL, the league has moved Monday night's Chiefs-Rams game from Mexico City to the Los Angeles Coliseum. The field at Estadio Azteca was deemed unplayable after much rainfall, and several events were held, including concerts and soccer matches. As the home team, the Rams get to host the game. It's Wednesday, which means what? Time for our Whiner of the Week. This week's award goes to none other than Draymond Green from the Golden State Warriors for failing to pass to a wide-open Kevin Durant during the final seconds of regulation in an eventual overtime loss to the Clippers. The two argued on the bench before play resumed and again in the locker room afterwards. Witnesses say it got more heated than they have ever seen with this team. Green was suspended for last night's game.
I think it's funny to see a team that wins as much as they do still whine. Like, what do they have to whine about?
I don't know, but I bet those Thunder fans wish that Kevin Durant got the Whiner of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much all on Draymond Green, though. And when he didn't pass the ball to send them into overtime, it makes sense why the team would be mad at him, but he is a big old whiner.
Thanks, Chloe. Up next, snow is common in Canada, but to some, it's a big surprise.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song.
I'm Tom Forbes at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A coroner says 2 people have died and several injured after a tour bus carrying about 50 people overturned on an icy highway ramp in northern Mississippi. He says those injured were transported to area hospitals where some are in critical condition. The crash came as a winter storm moves through parts of the South. This is a reminder to stay safe when driving during risky weather conditions. For more updates, be sure to follow OU Nightly on social media. Back to you.
Thanks, Talon. While snow in Canada is nothing new, to these siblings from Eritrea, seeing snow for the very first time was magical. These 2 sported their winter coats and danced around while snowflakes fell on them in their backyard.
Toronto native Rebecca Davies shared the video on social media. She is hosting the family of 5 from the North African country. The video's popularity grew when Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau retweeted it. I hope it snows all winter there, because
I
if they enjoy it
know.
that much, it's not going to stop anytime soon.
You know, that looks like some of the students here that are from South Texas. That's what they looked like on Monday when it snowed here. And usually it really doesn't snow that much, and November snow in Oklahoma is pretty rare. On average, we get 1 whole inch of snow, usually not until January 1st in the winter season. But this year, we've already got 0.8 inches, so we're already more than halfway to our 1 inch mark by January 1st.
Well, let's keep it going. I want it to keep snowing and snowing.
Me too. Thanks, Marissa. Thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.